final control. Now, if any of you would like to ask any questions throughout the drive this afternoon, it's going to be roughly around 3 hours. So if you do have any questions, then do email them in to finalcontrol@safari.tv and I'll be able to answer them live. And you're having this game drive live from Djuma Game Reserve here in South Africa. Now, I know it's not too much of a nice day today. It's fairly windy, a bit of an overcast day, but it is still fairly warm now, so I'm hoping that the animals are still going to be around. Earlier on today, Jared had the hippos in Buffelshoek Dam, so we're going to take a drive there, maybe try and catch up with Bob, which I know some of you are hoping to try and see this afternoon. So we're going to have a drive up there and maybe see if we can see the leopard around. And as some of you were aware, roughly around lunchtime we had the two boys walking through around the back of Final Control, and unfortunately I missed that by moments. I heard them and didn't realise it was them until later on. So they were around, so I think they are still in the drainage line, which is where they've been for the past few days. So I'm hoping we're going to catch up with them, hopefully. Keep your fingers crossed. So let's see if we can quickly have another look at the draft before they disappear, and we'll head off. And it looks like she's keeping a very close watch on us. And actually, just before we went live, the youngster was looking at something, and looks like it was bending down to pick up a piece of bone, which is obviously what giraffes do, especially this time of year and moving into winter. They won't eat the meat off of bone, it'll be a very clean bone, and they'll eat it to get calcium and phosphorus out. And a few other animals do it as well, like porcupine and kudu, tortoises, and obviously hyenas are one of the main ones that eat bone. Even some vultures will eat bone as well. I'm just going to try and see if we can get past the bush there so we can see the little one. And just the posh word for it is osteophagy. It just means bone eating. And unfortunately, as I say, I think this little one was trying to pick up a bone and something scared it, but I'm not too sure what it was. Possibly a bird that flew up or something. But it definitely ran for its mum's attention. You can see she's not eaten anything so far. She's probably just chewing the cud. Now all that means is just like a cow. They'll eat leaves or grass or whatever it is that they eat. With giraffe it's just leaves. They'll swallow it down into the first stomach, which is the rumen, and the larger layers will get separated out from the smaller parts, and the larger parts will be regurgitated with the bacteria from the stomach and chewed around with the saliva in the mouth as well as the bacteria, and then they'll chew it down so it gets nice and mushy, and then they can swallow it down, and then it gets passed through the other 3 chambers of the stomach. And when they are chewing the cud, you can see the cheeks are puffed out, and that's a real big giveaway that they're chewing the cud. You can just see that grinding motion of the bottom jaw just moving from left to right. Someone was asking the other day how many teeth a giraffe have. It's about 32 in an adult giraffe, and the canines are the last to erupt when they're about 6 years old. And when they're a youngster, they have about 20 teeth. Apparently the canines are slightly different to normal canines, and they have a couple of ridges, and that's what is quite distinctive in this type of animal, which I never knew until someone had asked me that question before, and then I did a bit more reading up about it. You can see those very prominent white ears. Again, known as a follow me sign, and the eyesight is very, very good, and if they lose each other in the bush, or if there's other giraffe approaching, they can see each other for quite a distance, and they'll be looking at the white ears as well, spotting each other in the bush. Just while we're sitting here watching the draft for a little while, I just want to give a quick shout out to Julie and to Leah. I promised them that I'd say hello on drive, and hopefully you're watching as we're going to be driving around live here from Juma Game Reserve. Something's caught the attention of this little one. Good afternoon, stations, Taro Bob. Now it could possibly be another giraffe. Doesn't seem too worried about it, neither does the mother. Or it could be something that it's just never seen before. I wonder if it's looking at the warthog. They went in roughly around that area. I know it was looking quite interested at one of the warthogs earlier. Again, just look at that posture. Now you can see that it's focused on something. Ears are forward, eyes are forward. Completely focused, trying to get as much information from whatever it is that's the cause of interest. Can you see anything over the grass there?
No, nothing.
So Patrick's just a little bit higher than me at the back there, so he might have a better height advantage over me. You can see it's starting to chew the cud, and they do relax quite a lot when they are chewing the cud, and that's how they can get away with very little sleep. They maybe sleep 5 to 12 minutes at a time, 5 or 6 times a night, but they'll rest during the heat of the day, chew the cud. They'll sit down with their heads up, or obviously stand up like they are now. There you go, you can see those cheeks puffed out quite nicely there. And if you watch, I don't know if you just saw it, watch the neck. Just watch the neck again. And when the bolus, the ball of food, moves up and down the neck, you can actually see that movement. It's very, very slight. If it was sort of more square onto us, we'd see it a lot more. But just watch when it stops chewing, watch the neck. And you should be able to see that movement. I did see it, but I know what I'm looking out for, so just watch that movement in the neck. No, where are you going? He doesn't want to play anymore. But that's something to watch out for, especially if we see giraffes again. I must admit, I'm very fascinated with it. I can sit and watch it all day. And when I was a zookeeper, I used to look after a 6 male giraffe, and that's where I first noticed it actually. Nope, I'm done. And I can't see the warthogs again. Now we do also get the bush pig, and the difference between bush pig and warthog is quite dramatic. And the bush pig tends to be more nocturnal, whereas the warthog are diurnal, they active during the day. So the bush pig has quite an arched back, has a silver sort of mane down its back, whereas the warthog sort of more of a indent in the back. And they have obviously the tusks that come out, or the tushes that come out and curl round on their face. And obviously they have the warts where they get the name from, warthog.
Looking better now.
I'm not too sure which direction the buffalo went in this morning. I'll just have a quick drive up towards Aubrey's Road, but we do lose signal past there, so I'm not going to go anywhere past there, just in case they move down this way.
Was it a big herd, Tara, or just a few individuals?
It was difficult to tell. There was quite a lot in the bush. From what I could see, it looked like a fairly large herd. What would you say, Kath? So Kath was there. It sounded like they'd split with the herd. Just the number, the size of the herd. Roughly about 30. Okay. And then possibly the same on the other side, because they'd actually driven, sort of, it looked like the herd had split up. I'm just looking for any tracks here from the leopard. I say, with it being slightly cooler today, they may have moved around during the day. As I say, they were around the final control, and they went into the drainage line at the back there, so I want to drive around on Vubu Road and around the back and hopefully end up at Gowrie a little bit later on. And obviously we did something very similar last night, and as we came into camp and we closed down, we heard that they were around the lodge. Okay, well, we've got some new viewers today, so welcome aboard Jigger, and I hope you enjoy the safari experience. And that's to Sonia, and I need to just be reminded of the other two, Andy and Harry. So Sonia, Andy and Harry, I hope you're doing well. And say, if you also have any questions, or if anybody else has any questions, then feel free to drop us a line at finalcontrol@safari.tv, and we'll be able to get them radioed over to me via Catherine, who's in final control, and then she'll be able to radio through them, and we'll be able to answer them live as we're driving around. And if we do find any animals and there's anything you'd like to ask about those animals, then the same thing applies. And basically what you're seeing here is what we do if you came to Africa and you stayed at a lodge. This is what you would do as well. You go out on a game drive and look for any of the animals that live in the bush and anything else of interest, like the birds or the plants, anything like that. So with this being live, we don't know what we're going to find. This is us doing our job, looking for these animals for you. Okay, it doesn't look like the buffalo around here, it doesn't look like they crossed over. So I want to go down Gallego, see if there's any tracks there coming out, and then down Mvubu. So we have to try and read the bush newspaper, which is the tracks on the road, and we go off of anything that we've heard in the morning and a few days previous to it to try and work out where the animals might be, and then try and see if we can put you in the right place at the right time. I say it can be quite hit and miss sometimes, but if you're willing to stick around, sometimes we can get some awesome sightings. We've had some very close-up sightings of elephants this last week. We've had hyenas chasing leopards off of kills, leopards making kills next to the vehicle, the lions pretty close to the vehicle, dwarf mongoose playing in the road a few meters away from us, many species of birds. We just don't know what we're going to see, and that is the beauty of it. Quite often you pick up little bits of behaviour you might not pick up from documentaries, just because it does take quite a long time to make the documentaries. So it can take maybe 3 or 4 years of filming just to get half an hour worth of footage. Whereas here we put the hours in, and then when we do find an animal we can sit with it and watch it real time.
And the wall's going like that.
Oh.
I think
sure.
the nuts are loose, so we need to tighten them.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
like gum, gum, gum. The wall going like.
I wonder why that is. Okay, we're going to try and just see if we can tighten these wheel nuts before we lose a wheel then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The spanner. They're loose. Aha. Yeah, I'm just trying to, it's impossible. It's rocky and yeah. All of them. Yeah, cool. Ah, she's done. Yeah, just a lot of people just wondering what you're doing. If you can explain
Oh,
what you were
sorry.
doing.
I thought you were explaining.
I
Okay.
was luckily you jumping up in.
Alrighty, sorry. I thought Patrick was explaining. Yeah, it just looks like there was a couple of wheel nuts loose on the back tire here, and unfortunately, that's one of the things with it being live. Then these things do happen, and we've had to change a couple of tires on Jigger. We've had to do that live as well, so it's one of those things happens during game drives, so you have to deal with it while you're in the bush. So hopefully we're going to be alright. So I've just tightened the wheel nuts up and we'll see how we go. So let's see if we can continue on. Luckily I don't think there was anything in the bush, but you never know, sometimes there may be the odd animal watching you.
Ticks were watching you.
Hmm?
Ticks and birds and...
Ticks. I was thinking more of the big furry kind. Someone was asking the other day how we cope with that. And believe me...
Still going, eh? Still?
It is.
Still got good. I think we need to check it up and just
Yeah,
tell
I
it
think
nicely.
we might have to, hey? Let's have a look. Yay, nay? As I say, if there is something watching you, you do it very, very quickly. I have had occasion where I've had to change tyres with lines a few metres there, and especially there was once where it was at night, and unfortunately I had to change it there and then. And I had another vehicle luckily there who could keep a spotlight. We actually had the guest spotting the lions for us, and the other ranger parked so that that vehicle would shield us from the lions, and he was able just to give me a hand, so we did it very, very quickly. Hello. How you doing?
How's it?
Okay, we have a question. Okay, I didn't quite understand the last part of that. But Dave, you're saying you're watching quite an interesting documentary where they had, I think it was infrared on giraffes, and you were saying that you could actually see, I think, the heat from the blood vessels, and I think the blood vessels, you could actually see the large arteries going into obviously the smaller veins, and I think there were, from what I could understand, if Kath can correct me, that they were sort of around the dark spots, so obviously where there's a lot more blood flow towards the darker spots. I think, was that about right, Kath? Ah, okay. Okay, so the circulation. I can't say it. It's one of those words you try and get your tongue around, and no matter how hard you try, if you don't get it right the first time, you're not going to get it right at all. Circulatory system is actually following the pattern of the spots. That's actually quite interesting, because I was trying to do a study when I was at university into temperature regulation using the large spots and the lighter areas in between the spots. And my argument was that the lighter areas was to obviously reflect the heat and cool, or keep the giraffe cooler, and the darker spots to absorb the heat when it gets very cold, to help with the metabolism. So it's actually a research project done on the cattle in the Masai Mara, and they found that the white cattle could survive the extreme temperatures because obviously of that sort of heat being reflected, whereas the darker cattle would suffer a lot more if the temperatures were hotter than usual, and they actually found that more darker cattle would die. And obviously there would be a lot more to it, but that was basically I was basing my theories on. What was quite interesting, it seemed that instead of it being hot where it's hotter, having more light on the giraffe, it seemed to be the reverse. Where there was the colder temperatures, there seemed to be a lot more dark on the giraffe. So maybe it's the cooler temperatures that dictate how much of a dark area the giraffe has. And obviously if the blood system is actually flowing through to the pattern and actually following the pattern, that could actually indicate something along those lines. Unfortunately, all the information I got, it wasn't enough to back up my theory, so it was one of those inconclusive evidence.
The picture looking, mine's looking quite dark in a minute.
So thank you very much for that, Dave. That's very interesting.
Like a couple of things.
I don't know, maybe one day I might continue that research unless somebody else has done it by now, which is a possibility. I'm just having a look around, see if we can see any tracks along here. There shouldn't have been any vehicles driving between gain drives, although with it being cooler somebody might have wanted to go out on a gain drive outside of the normal times. It looks like this is all from this morning. Alrighty, we have a question coming through. Oh, white helmeted shrikes. If you can see them through there. Do you think you'll be able? Oh, there's one here. So these are one of my favourite birds.
Then they go. Okay,
There's one in here. If I can move through there, I don't know. Can you see him?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Just sitting on the.
Oh, take off.
It's flying off. Yeah, they don't seem to sit around too long here. White helmeted shrikes generally live as a family. Unfortunately, my pearl spotted owlet is not great, but I can give it a go. See if we can call them in.
Oh, there's the one sitting there.
Oh, there we go. There's one there. Looks like on the end of a knobthorn by the looks of it. He's moved.
Some gun.
Yeah, it's just gone to one of the lower branches. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick it up.
Where about?
In the shot, yeah, it's just the branches
tree, yeah.
on the right, yeah, same tree. And there goes the rest of the family. Oh, there we go. Just in the top there, you can see that bright yellow ring around the eye. Very characteristic when they fly, the black and the white as they fly, and you just see maybe a group of 5 or 6 birds flying like that. Quite beautiful. And here's a word for you. When they call together to strengthen the bonds. So one will start and they'll all join in, and it's called allylomimetic behaviour. Don't ask me to spell it, I don't know. And it took me a long time to remember.
What is the alu? What?
Allylomimetic behaviour.
I can't pronounce that.
It took me a long time to learn that one. But yeah, that's the posh word for saying that they all sing together, basically.
Tara.
Has it gone again?
It's all banging again.
Okay.
I think
we are going to have to
just check it out.
jack up the vehicle and see if we can just tighten the wheel nuts a little bit more. I'm not too sure what's causing it. We thought that we'd fix the problem on the last drive, but unfortunately it looks like they've worked loose again, and I'm not too sure why. So what we're going to do is just use the jack, lift it up and try and tighten them further, and maybe see what it is that's causing the problem. The problem being, if we lose the wheel, if the wheel falls off, then that could be some damage to Jigger and obviously ourselves as well, so we don't want to cause a problem with that. So just bear with us, we're going to just quickly have a look and hopefully sort the problem out. Okay.
Yeah, I will think that would be the best. I'm also going to jump off and just give Tara a hand quickly. Okay, copy. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to cut away. Okay, copy. Okay, folks, we're just gonna quickly fix the wheel and the jigger, and I'm also gonna jump off and give Tara a hand quickly, and Kath will cut the guard dam for now, and hopefully we should be back in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. So we're not gonna be too long.
Okay. Alrighty. I'll see you in a bit.
Hi everyone, Catherine in Final Control. So we'll just be on Gari for the meantime, and I'll have a look at what there is around the dam for us to look at while Tara and Pat attend to the wheel. It shouldn't be too much of a hassle. We're just going to jack up the car, as Tara said, with our high lift jack, and that'll give us a little bit more leeway to actually tighten the nuts and all the rest of it more easily, obviously with the weight being off the tire. So that's the plan for now. So we're just going to stick with Gari till they've done that. So we just give them an opportunity to get it done as quickly as possible, and then we'll carry on with the drive. and hello again, everyone. We have changed the tyre completely. Rather than sort of trying to sort that out and then having the same problem in half an hour or so, we thought let's just get it over and done with and change the tyre once and for all and see if that completely fixes the problem, which I think it shall. So we are back on the road again. Tara's just jumped back into the driver's seat and we'll be cutting to the jigger shortly.
Alrighty everybody, welcome back. Sorry for that, we decided to actually change the tyre completely. We don't know, it may be something to do with the rim, that's why we're having some problems with it. So just trying to eliminate all that, we've changed the tyre completely. So hopefully we're not going to have any more problems, keep your fingers crossed. So just to let any of you who are just joining us know who's who and what we're doing. You've got myself today presenting. I'm going to be the guide for the drive this afternoon, and we have Patrick on camera, and then we have Catherine in final control. So she's going to be the lovely lady who's going to be posting through or radioing through any of your messages or questions that you'd like to ask. And with this being a live safari, you can ask it real time, so as soon as you email it in, obviously depending on what other questions we've had and what's been going on, we'll try and answer it for you straight away, if not somewhere along the drive. So if you'd like to ask any questions, feel free. What if we go? Oh, hello.
George.
So I thought you were looking up. Got another giraffe. Looks like he's lost his tail. Got a lot of oxpeckers on him. There we go. Hey, mister. Oh, we're doing well for our giraffes today. It's amazing, you can go through weeks with not seeing giraffe, and we've been very lucky with them this week and last week. Now you can see this giraffe is much, much darker than the other two we had, and he is quite a big bull. And generally, giraffes will get dark with age. But you can't really take it that all males are darker than females. That's not the case. It is also dependent on the genetics as well. I have seen very dark females. I've also seen very light males. But a general rules, if the male is darker, much darker like this male, he's generally quite a dominant bull. And that was the other part of my study actually, with the temperature regulation of giraffe. Was looking into sort of males being darker than females, and does it show how fit they are? Because my theory was obviously if they have light areas on them and it reflects the heat and keeps them cool, and the dark areas absorb the heat, obviously the darker areas are going to absorb more heat than say a lighter brown. So my theory was that males who are more dominant will show the dominance by being darker. I still think there's something to it, because as I say, if you get these very old bulls, they do tend to be very dark in colour, and as I say, they should be more dominant than the younger bulls. And you can see his horns at the top there, fairly short, very thick, rounded, fairly robust for fighting, and you can see the fur's worn off from where he's been fighting. And again, they use their heads, and I'm sure some of you saw this morning some giraffes sparring, and they use the head like a battering ram, so they will swing down and hit the opponent around the chest or the neck area. So that's why the fur wears off. But I have again seen bald females. It seems to be that they rub the horns on trees or something like that. And again, just like zebra or kudu, their pattern is unique. And what's quite interesting, there has been a study done on the inheritance of these patterns, and it does seem to be that some parts of the pattern are passed down from generation to generation. I just want to see what he's doing. He's actually
He's rubbing his chest.
Oh, is he actually rubbing his chest? I was going to say, 'cause he almost looked like he was moving his legs back or something, either going to the toilet or doing something funny. I say if they scratch themselves, then they do look quite funny. And they'll quite often walk over a small shrub or something, scratch those areas. Is that alright for you?
Yeah.
And you can see the birds that are actually sitting on him are the red-billed oxpeckers, and there's some blackbirds that have been flying around as well, and they've got quite a deep fork in the tail, and that's the fork-tailed drongos. Now the drongos won't be eating the ticks, that's the oxpecker's job. The drongos, that you can see in the picture now, are just following the giraffe, waiting for any insects and any opportunity to pick those insects up as they fly up from what the giraffe disturbs, whether it be on the trees or in the grass. And they just following the giraffe around. They'll follow other animals around, and they'll even follow humans if they get used to them enough. You often find them sitting on the backs of the animals, whether it be impala or wildebeest. And again, they're just hitching a ride, so they're not wasting energy flying after the animals, so they can just sit on the back and watch from the vantage point. Well, this giraffe, as I said before, has lost the hair part of his tail. It could possibly have been from a lion attack. It's difficult to say. There was a few giraffes at my old reserve that had also lost a couple of their tails. And I know that the lions were very good hunters of the giraffe there, so I don't know if it was due to the lions or whether there was some form of disease that made them shed the tail. What was quite interesting is it happened at the zoo I used to work at as well. One of the giraffes lost its tail as well, and I still don't know to this day, because I left fairly shortly afterwards, so I don't know what the reason was for it losing its tail. So I don't know if it is something that makes them lose the tail, or whether it will just be from the lion attacks and the zoo was completely, it would be unrelated. So if anybody wants to do a bit of research out there, that'd be great. Otherwise I'll see if I can dig around a little bit further and just see if there's anything to it. It's one of those every time I see it I keep thinking about it, and then when I get back I forget to have a look about it. See if I can see anything at the tip of it going on there. Okay. Thank you very much, Brian. You're just asking, do giraffes do they have territories? And giraffes don't actually have territories, Brian. These guys, the males will just fight between themselves for the rights of the female, and I'm just going to move forward and see if we can see him again. He's gone into hiding again. But yeah, as I say, they don't hold territories, so they'll move around, and it's fairly common to see a male on his own like this, especially an old bull. He might be moving around the area looking for any females that are in estrus, and I'm pretty sure this isn't the bull that we have been seeing recently that's been keeping a close watch on the female. She had a fairly old calf with her, so it looked like she was ready to mate, but she wasn't willing, and he was keeping very close to her. But I think this is a different male. He does look slightly different. So they'll move around. They may be in bachelor groups, just a group of males. The older bulls sort of teaching the ways of the world to the younger bulls. And they'll also be in mixed herds as well. And females as well may go around in herds, or they may be on their own. It really does depend on what they feel like on the day. What if you spot it? I sort of saw movement there. Looks like he's got a couple of old battle scars, or maybe even injuries. I wonder if he has been through the mill a bit with the lions. So I was trying to have a look at the end of the tail, and it looks like there was maybe some scar tissue there, possibly from, and obviously with this oxpecker, where you can see it, it's got an old wound there with the scar tissue there. And that's where the oxpeckers might do some damage to the animals, because they're supposed to have a mutualistic relationship, or symbiotic relationship, where both benefit from the relationship. The oxpecker's getting food while keeping the giraffe clean of ticks, but there has been on occasion people actually seeing them opening wounds up and actually eating the blood straight from the wound, and I'm wondering if that's what that oxpecker is doing right now. And they have sort of been accused of keeping wounds open as well, which obviously is not very beneficial to the animal. There's a couple of little birds. It sounded like it was the southern black tits just in the tree. Oh, they've moved. I'm just going to have a check on them. But they've just flown off. It looked like the southern black tits. Quite a small bird, black and white. Or black with the white wing band, should I say. Alrighty, well, it's 4 o'clock, so I'm going to head down towards the dam and then try and go up towards Buffalo's Hook Dam in a hope of bumping into the boys. Alrighty. Alright, thanks Jennifer. I think it's Jennifer from New York. And it's great to have you on board. Or just Jennifer? Okay. Okay. Oh, hi to Jennifer, and just asking would the oxpeckers eat maggots out of the wound? Probably not. As I say, I think they go for fairly open wounds, and say keep them draining with the blood really. I don't know if it's been documented. I've certainly not heard of it, but it's more the blood that they eat rather than the the insects, but I could be wrong. But I've not heard of it, to be honest. I don't know if they would actually give the wound a chance to have the maggots develop in it, which in a way that could be beneficial. Although I know maggots are quite useful to eat away dead tissue, and I know it's been used in the past for wounds that have got dead tissue, and they allow the maggots to eat the dead tissue away to the living tissue, and it actually helps the wound to heal, and it actually heals quite cleanly as well. I think there was quite a famous scene in Gladiator where they show that thing. Russell Crowe had a cut on his shoulder and they put the maggots in. But I know it has been used in veterinary practices in years gone by. I remember watching something when I was very, very young with that. So yeah, if anybody wants to have a look and correct me, then please do. But as I say, I've not heard of that, Jennifer. Okay, I'm just gonna let the guys know in case they want to know where the drafts are. Any stations interested, there's one Dmitri on the junction with Gallego and the fire break. Still keeping a close lookout for those two boys. I really want to know what they've been up to these last week or so. Tantalising us with us knowing that they're in there, but just not knowing exactly where in there. As someone was asking, could they be a little bit skittish because Karula is pushing them away? It could possibly be. And for those of you who are just joining us for today, I know we've got a few new viewers. We've got the two male leopards of about 17 months old, Mishun and Duna, and they're coming up for maturity, and their mother Karula has been looking after them, and this is her territory. And what she's been doing is leaving them alone for a few days, going off to hunt and then calling them back to the kill and bringing them back. But they've recently got very skittish, and we're not too sure why. We don't know what's going on. It could be that she's starting to push them away more. So it is difficult to... Something just coming through on the radio. Okay, I just want to quickly listen to the radio. I'm not too sure. It sounds like there might be something going on. I'll just have a quick listen. Oops, sorry, Patrick.
Thank you. On the west northern side by I'm going to take the Python track to the north up to the boundary.
Last station, Fanbring through to Buffalo, so confirm, was there a lock there? Someone said Buffalo, but I don't know if they were mentioning. Sorry to bother you, I was going to Fanber through to Buffalo Dam, was there a lock there?
Copy you nicely, or I don't understand, but I don't copy you nicely, but I'm inside the Facebook, so I don't know if you're saying about the Facebook Dam or I didn't copy you well.
Copy, it's Namatatu then, thank you.
Copy, thank you, yeah, I think it could be Ifrat, not the amount. Python Road heading towards Magnetic Path. 6 rand for sure, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Copy that, aircraft tower.
So thank you.
Aircraft tower. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on at the moment. Did you copy what was being said? I think.
Not really.
No.
I think Graham, it was Graham or Ev's talking about following up on leopard somewhere, and apparently there's a
So I was just
gala somewhere in
with
the
us
area.
following through to Buffelshoek Dam. I just didn't want to bump into a sighting because they were kept saying Buffelshoek, and I thought I heard dam, but I think they're talking about the property further north of here. So we'll continue through. I don't think there is anything now. I think it was further north. So I think we've got a couple of questions coming through. Alrighty, thank you Ellen and welcome on board Jigger this afternoon. Hope you're doing well. And you're just asking, have the crocodile or leopards been seen recently? Well, myself and Patrick found white cloth. Well, we didn't find them, someone else found them, but we managed to get to the sighting. And that was, when was that, Patrick? About 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
something like that. White cloth and her son down on Central Drive, Niala, which was quite a treat. So obviously I've never seen her before. And Patrick, you said you only saw them once or twice, hey?
Yeah.
And then, as I say, we have been glimpsing the boys. I think let's go down here and then up Hyena again. As I say, this afternoon, somewhere around lunchtime, the boys, the 2 male leopard, did move past final control. So they're in this drainage line here somewhere. So that's why I'm taking a drive around here, seeing if we might hit it lucky, especially with it being cooler. They might be moving around. Karula, I don't think she's been seen for a short while now. We actually thought that white cloth was Karula. And then when we got into sighting, Tex said no, we've been misinformed, it's actually white cloth. And the crocodile, as I say, I want to head up towards Buffelshoek Dam and just see if we can bump into the crocodile there. He hasn't been seen for about 6 days, but it looks like Bob and Bob's mother are in the dam. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm really hoping to get the leopard this afternoon. I really would like to see the boys, see how they're doing. I haven't really seen them since I've been back. We saw him doing it very quickly and he ran off. And as I say, walking through final control today, I missed them. With there being such a lot of wind around, I heard something, but I didn't realise it was the leopard calling. Didn't even cross my mind that maybe a leopard was calling, and it just sounded like something banging because the wind was so strong, so I think it drowned it out quite a lot. And then when I came out a couple of seconds later, the guy said no, the leopards just walked through. And a few days ago we heard them playing in the drainage line at night. Jess actually saw them playing with a towel. And apparently they had put the towel in the tree as if it was a kill. So finally they picking up on the fact that they need to put the kills in the trees. And obviously it was the wrong kind of kill. But at least they have to start somewhere. Hello, how you guys doing? Good, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
How is it?
Good.
Good.
Hello, young man.
Hello, how are you?
Giraffe.
Thank you.
Cool. Are you also looking for leopards?
Yes.
Same. We had them walking past final control about 12ish, but I think they're in the back here somewhere.
Yeah, I think like later he'll be coming again.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So I'm going to head up towards Buffalo's Hook Dam, see if there's anything around there.
Okay, no problem.
So yeah, I'll give you a shout.
Thank
Enjoy,
you.
guys.
So, okay, thank you. Cheers, folks. Enjoy.
Okay, you got to remind me who that was. Was that Ephraim?
Ephraim, yes.
Ephraim. Okay.
And so there was a England Konze heading up this way
Oh, heading up that way.
from
Okay.
Gowrie Dam, yeah.
Well, as soon as he's going that
Ruby
way,
Road, yeah.
we'll carry on and go central and then up Hyena, I think. Okay, I think is there a couple more questions coming through, Kath? Alrighty, hi Jules, I hope you're well as well. It's great to hear from so many of you. And you're just asking about the buffalo from this morning's drive. There was a buffalo that had a horn, it had some sort of injury. I didn't see it too well, but it had sort of a big lump here, and then its horn was sort of coming down here. Whereas the horn should really have sort of come out here and up. So you're just asking, is it likely to lose the horn? As I say, I couldn't see exactly what the damage was. I just saw it being very red, and when I actually caught the glimpse of it, the camera was moved off. So it does depend on the injury. It might just heal as it is, and it might just have the horn drooping down for the rest of its life like that. It might just carry on sort of growing down. And if it's a very, very bad injury, she may just lose it. But as I say, I didn't have a good look at it, I must admit. So we shall have to see. But obviously these things can and do happen. And it doesn't always go smoothly throughout the animal's life, but it's how the animal deals with it really sort of shows how strong the animal is. And these animals are pretty robust. I mean, they can actually cope with quite a lot. Pretty strong, but they have to be. They have to survive. Whatever gets thrown at them in life, they have to survive. So if they can learn to deal with whatever problem they've got, then that makes it a stronger animal, and then it's more likely to go on to survive and more likely to be able to breed, especially if it's a female. And let's say if you've got a male with an injury and he becomes quite a dominant male, then that shows that he's extremely strong. And if he becomes quite a dominant male and the female's mate with him, then obviously his genes that make him that strong animal should be passed on to its offspring and make its offspring more likely to survive whatever is thrown at it. So unfortunately it is nature and it is natural selection, and if they're not strong enough, if they're not fit enough to survive whatever life throws at them, then they're not meant to survive and they're not meant to continue to breed. And I know it sounds quite a harsh way of looking at it, but unfortunately it's the way nature goes. Nature can be quite a harsh place sometimes, but obviously it can be such an incredible place as well. I mean, just the pure fact of life, being able to give birth to a life is pretty awesome. And you know, it's very much balanced, and that's what we have to remember in life. We have to be balanced. We have to take the good with the bad. And for every bad thing, there's always a good thing, if not two good things. So I'm having a quick look around here. I think Ephraim could be right. I think they may move around a little bit later. I was just hoping with it being cooler, we may have seen them moving around. But we'll head on through to Buffalo's Hook, see if we can catch up with Bob and Bob's mother, and the other one, I think somebody who's nicknaming it Corky or Pinky, and then we'll come back here a little bit later as well. Alright, was there another question, Kath? Hi Captain Steve, I hope you're well. Oh, we've got a Natal Franklin in the road here. Oh. It's always the way, as soon as I stop, gone. So hi Captain Steve, and welcome aboard Jigger this afternoon. And you're asking why have we not gone past a hyena den recently? Have they moved? And the hyenas will have a couple of dens, so they won't always use the same one. They may have one or two that they move between. Myself and Herman went through to the old hyena den probably about a week before I went on leave, so it'll be about a month ago now, and there was absolutely no activity around there, but we don't know where the hyenas have a den at the moment. There may be one somewhere around Finland's Cut Line. We do seem to see them fairly regularly around there, but as yet no one's actually found where the den is. As I say, we'll probably have another drive past that den at some stage when we're next down that way, and just see if there is anything plotting there. Okay, there was one leopard track there. It looked quite old though. There's another one there. Very, very old. It's not going to be very easy to show. It's very, very blown away. Very little detail there. But it has been very windy today, so it could be the leopard has moved there fairly early on today, and all this wind has just completely destroyed the track, which is quite a distinct possibility. So for those of you who are following us on the map, we're on Central Drive, just bypassing Gowrie Cut Line. Going into Giraffe Dip. Okay, I think we've got another question coming through. Alrighty, well welcome aboard Kelvin. I hope you're well as well. And you're asking about rhinos and when they give birth, do they separate from the crash of rhino and then join them after the birth? Generally, rhinos won't live in a crash. They tend to congregate when it's winter time, when there's not as much food available, so they can't sort of spread themselves out as much. Generally you'll get the males being on their own holding territories, and then the females, you'll maybe get 3 females together. If you might have a mother with maybe a 5 or 6 year old female who was her calf or is her daughter, and then maybe what we call a youngster at foot. Otherwise it'll just be a female with a calf. So the female will go and give birth by herself. As I say, if she has a daughter, then she'll stay with her daughter. Depending on the area, I've also seen non-related females stay together. They seem to like each other's company, and that was at Entebbe of my old reserve. As I say, there wasn't many rhinos around there, so it could be she just enjoyed the company of other rhino. It could be that it's the norm for a small area. It's a very difficult one, but even when the males are fairly young, they still need to have some form
Lap it up ahead.
contact. Where?
Straight ahead.
Okay, I'm
away
too
from
low.
us.
I can't see it. Is it on the road?
It's on the road.
It's on the road. I can't see it.
Because
I don't want
it's
to
too
chase
low.
it off. Huh?
There.
Is it gone?
No, it's still there on the road. It's modelling on the road.
Oh, there we go.
There she
Yay!
is.
We have a leopard. Woohoo! It looks fairly small. I don't want to, as I say, with the boys being skittish, I can't see who it is at the moment. So I don't want to scare them off. Very, very wide tail. So it could be Mishu or it could be Karula. I'd like it to be Karula. I haven't seen Karula for ages either. So she's obviously been hearing our prayers this afternoon. Or he. Stations have got one Ingwe thundering in an easterly direction along Central Road just past Hyena.
Copy, thank you, sir. I'm on but I would like to have enjoyed you there.
Looks like Gorilla.
It does look like Karula to me as well. Fairly dark, quite a small. Copy that. Just confirm who is responding. Is that Andrew?
Andrew is.
I've got the Ingwe on Central Drive, bypassing Hyena and now Vulture's Nest, still heading east on Central. Copy that, that will make 3 in the log.
Yeah, I'm coming to go.
Here, go. Confirm, is this Ephraim?
Andrew.
Copy, Andrew, that's affirmative, first standby.
Thank you. Also, couple one coming low 3,000.
I think you're right, I think it is Karula. Where are you going, lady? What's been your mission? See, I think it's everybody thinking good thoughts. Well spotted.
That was on the road anyway.
I couldn't see her, hey? I was too low down. Unfortunately, we are going to go into a bit of a signal drop by the signal area, but we're going to stay with her because we haven't seen this lady for a long, long time, so we don't want to lose her just yet. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, hello. Taking an interest in people or in other sense around her, and I'm just wondering whether she is starting to let the other males in the area know that she's wanting to mate again. We are waiting for that. As I said earlier about the 2 young boys are reaching 17 months old, and they will be getting to the stage where they should be moving away. Roughly between 1.5 years, 2 years old, they'll move away and find their own territory. off to, little one. No, don't go in there.
Circle up ahead.
Huh?
Another move up ahead.
Ah. Okay, I'm gonna go in this side. Or not.
She's gonna pop out on Nyala South.
Nyala South.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just down the road here.
Okay. Oh, we'll let him follow her. She's just in here. Ah, okay.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna pop out on the road shortly.
Okay, well he can follow her
Yeah.
and we'll go around then. I'm trusting you, Patrick. I'm sure you're right though.
Because I can see the road on the.
I don't know, can you see her? She's driving quite fast, so I don't know if you can see her. Oh, sorry everyone. I just want to try and get to the road before she pops out, see if we can actually get a nice view of the face, but I think she's already popped out. Yeah, we might have a few breakups, but we should be alright. Shouldn't be as bad as Nyala's north. Okay, we did have her. Okay.
She's on the road in front of his vehicle.
Oh, there she goes.
I'm coming.
Copy, I'm just behind you.
So far, just how much is 2 more now. Now from Battalion Road, you can check. Yeah, Nyala South, heading north. You can see out in the area. There's no third vehicle coming down. No, some other vehicle is too far. Yeah, I'd like to do that if you can.
Ephraim, I did have Andrew on first standby.
That's fine. When somebody pulls out too, just let me know. Bernie coming to Brian?
Are you guys going to continue following? Yeah?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, yeah. I wonder, yeah, beautiful. Awesome. No worries, hey? Are you taking over the block for me?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I think welcome to Toby. I'd love to station off Bernie. Thank you.
Okay, I wonder who she was signaling to. Don't know if you could hear the She certainly looks like she's trying to signal to somebody. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this definitely does look like a relay.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, just for those people who are joining us, we're here with Karula by the looks of things, our resident female leopard, and this is live, and we've just had her calling. We're not too sure who she's calling to at the moment, but it'll be quite interesting to see if she's meeting up with a male. And just because we are live, we don't know what's going to happen, so we're following her at the moment, hoping to stay with her for as long as we can, but we will have to make some space for other vehicles and maybe try and come back in a bit later, but for now I'm definitely going to try and stay with her as long as we possibly can. And just so that you all know, it's myself, Tara, that's being your guide this afternoon. And we have Patrick on camera with Kath in final control. And any questions you'd like to ask, then you're more than welcome to send it through to finalcontrol@safari.tv. I'm very excited. I really want to know where she's going and who she's going to meet up with. Okay, she's just looking around her. And I must admit, the first time I met this leopard, I was quite shocked at how small she actually is for a leopard. But it could be that she had cubs fairly early on in her life, and it could be that she was dwarfed because of it. I'm just trying to make space so that the other vehicle behind can also see. And I'm just going to let him bypass us. He let us have quite a nice view of her. So we're going to let you guys bypass.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. See you later.
Alrighty. So because it's on quite a narrow road, it's quite nice just to try and swap between the vehicles, and you can see they'll help us as much as we can help them. And the more we work as a team, the more likely we are to see these beautiful creatures. Here we go. Oh, that is my first time I've ever heard leopard calling. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And then I've known that it's a leopard. Come on,
Do you like a
Karula,
leopard, Tara?
don't disappoint us, hey. I really want to see if she meets up with someone. She's flicking the tail. I don't know. She definitely seems to be on a mission. As I say, for those of you joining us for the first time, you're not too sure how you can tell it's a leopard. If you have a look at the...
Just stop it. Through the gap here quickly.
Yeah, okay. You can actually have a look at the spots on her. And you can see they're actually not full spots, they're little rosettes. Now on cheetahs, they have full black spots. And the cheetahs are a lot thinner. You can see this cat's very, very stocky. And they do climb the trees, they hide meat into the trees, any of the kills, to try and keep it away from hyena and lion, which would try and take away their kill. Whereas cheetah won't. Cheetah are built solely for running, chasing after the prey, and basically having bodies that can get up to speeds of about 100 kilometers an hour. I think the top speed that's ever been recorded is about 120 kilometers. Whereas leopard, they're designed for climbing trees, stashing their carcass up into trees. So they have very stocky bodies, and also they'll use the ambush technique rather than chasing down their prey. There we go. Let's
Stop
see
it.
if we can get in here and listen to it. She's very excited. You can see that tail twitching as well. She's excited about something as well. Come on, lady.
Further ahead, the cub responding down in the dip to your right.
Could you? Okay.
Yeah, like,
I wonder if she's meeting the boys then. Oh, this is magic. Sorry, I wasn't really listening. Can you still see it from there or not?
let me see if we can.
Just want to move over a little bit more. Gonna move in and then we'll pull in round you. Yeah, you can move in and we'll pull in round you. No worries. Oh, okay, you're gonna pull in now.
Yeah, there comes one of the boys.
Oh, there we go.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Hey. Let's try and see who it is. Alright, lady. You can see that nice wow on her forehead there, which shows that it's Karula. And it's Mishu that's just come to join her. I wonder if Indina's around as well. Well, I hope everyone's enjoying this as much as me. I wonder if she just spotted something. Oh, hyena. We've got a hyena coming in. Let's see if we can roll forward a little bit. Can you see the hyena through the tree there?
There's a mirror on the way. Mirror.
Oh, mirror. A bit more?
Okay, a minute, that might help.
Oh. Thank you. Oh, she's not happy about this hyena. Ah, it is as well. Floppy ear. And the leopard are not wanting to be with her. Karula's very scared of her. Ears are down. She's gone very, very low to the ground. I didn't see where they've gone.
No, just going
they're
back
just-
to the road.
Are they going back to the road, are they?
Yeah.
She looks very menacing, hey?
Yeah.
That was a big hyena. I'm just going to see if you can... Oh, I see the leopard there. I don't think we're going to see them from the road at the moment. Just push forward a bit more. Sorry? Oh, that's fine, don't worry. Thank you, though. Thank you.
Nothing but that. Are you on the spot with the leopard? Yeah, I'm coming now. The leopard now is in the bush now. I'll let you know now if we look at it again. Okay, thank you. Hanging around on Central Road at the moment.
See what's going to happen. I think we may have to, it sounds like there are a couple of people waiting to come into the sighting, and it doesn't sound like there's much going on around at the moment, so we may have to make space for them.
It's cut 3.
They're staying on the road.
Oh, no, I thought we were going off.
Yeah. I'm just wondering whether we shouldn't go down towards Treehouse Dam and give the other guys a go, and then we can come back. As much as I want to stay with these guys, I think we're going to be losing them into the bush anyway. Can you get past?
Thank you, Kath.
No problem.
Thanks, sir.
No worries.
Cheers.
Okay, we have a question coming in. Missed who was that who was asking the question? We got them scratching on the tree
It's a
there.
little bit full.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Welcome aboard, Eleanor, and you're with your friends Sonia and Harry, who were on board, or who were new on board Jigger. And you'd like to know how old the Karula's cubs are, and they're about 17 months old now. Karula just sharpening their claws. Okay. We got a couple more questions. I think I'm gonna make space. I don't think these guys are gonna leave anytime soon either. So I'm gonna just make some space quickly because these guys are moving into the bush as well. So it's gonna be quite difficult for us to maneuver in there, I think. But I'll keep my ear to the radio and see if we can pull back in once other people have had a look as well. Ephraim, I'm gonna pull out and let somebody else have a go. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Okay, so we have a couple of other questions coming in.
Yes, I'm prevailing. I'll step in both for in there. Yes, step up.
Okay, Mike. You're just asking how long will the leopard boys stay with them. Actually, I wanted to go the other way, didn't I? How long does the leopard boys, are they going to be staying with them on Karula? And it could be they moving on any time now, so between 1.5 years and 2 years old, they'll leave the mother. It depends on how independent they've already become. I would have thought Mishu would be the first one to go. I think he tends to be a little bit more independent than Induna from what I've seen. Induna also messes around with the carcasses in the tree, tends to lose his food quite a lot, whereas Mishu seems to be more mature. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mishu kind of moves away first. But obviously we're hoping that day is not going to come too soon. But I think it's very, very close to them moving off. So I'll keep my ear to the radio, and as soon as there's a space for us, we'll pull back in again. But as I say, unfortunately, it doesn't sound like there's much else going on in the area. So we do have to work together, try and get all the vehicles in to have a look. So obviously we've got paying guests here as well. So we do need to give them a chance of viewing the leopard, especially before it gets dark. So obviously it's best for the pictures as well. And we've got another chance to see them again along the line, hopefully, whereas some of these people, this might be their one chance to see a real live leopard. So we do have to obviously remember that as well. I'm sure if you guys were on that vehicle, you would be wanting to see that leopard for yourselves. As much as it breaks my heart to leave them. But I'll definitely try and get us back in there. And maybe they'll make their way towards Gowrie Dam later.
So far as myself and the following the also waiting for Benny and Brian is a person by.
That's too many. I'm gonna leave the colors. It is just like
Okay, welcome aboard Jigger, Suzanne. And you're asking how do we tell different leopards apart? Basically you look at the markings. Now every leopard has different markings, just like we saw in the giraffe. That's all individual as well. So we look at the markings on the body, on the face in particular, because you get to see the faces quite a lot. And also what has been helping me is lengthen the tail as well. Mishu's got a much longer tail than his brother Induna. He got half his tail bitten off by a hyena. And, well, that's what we think. We didn't see it, but he's very, very skittish around hyena now as well. So it does work, the fact that that could have happened. So yeah, we have a look at the face as well. What I have noticed actually, I don't know if any of the other viewers have picked it up, Induna has a little F on his left shoulder. So that might actually help. None of the other leopards that I've seen have got that. So yeah, as I say, there's a few little possibilities there. Okay, so we're going to head down towards Treehouse Dam. Apparently there was some elephants seen there a little bit earlier. Oh, and we were also going to go to Buffalo's Hook, weren't we? Got on the plan there. Got sidetracked by Cruella. She wasn't supposed to turn up as early as she did.
Wait for me. I never heard. Nobody got any more in the road.
Yeah, they've lost the visual of the leopard. Yeah, we can have another general question. Alrighty, Randy and Rudy, welcome aboard Jigger. Hope you enjoyed the leopard there. And you'd like to know, with it getting winter now, what are the temperatures like? And I think we want to get a thermometer just so we can answer directly when we are on Jigger what temperature it is. But in winter time it roughly gets between 12 and 18 degrees during the winter. At the moment we're still kind of in autumn going into winter, so it's still between sort of 23, 25, maybe a bit less as well, but we certainly, I know Kath certainly felt it this morning. We had a wonderful shot of Kath and Jared, and Kath was all wrapped up in blankets on the back of Jigger. So it was very, very cold this morning, and I can definitely feel the chill in the air as we're driving around now. I was just saying to Patrick, does he think it's going to rain? And Patrick doesn't think so, and he was right about the leopard, and he was right about the no rain the other day, so I'm going to go with Patrick again. So yeah, hopefully it's not going to get as cold as it did in Entebbe. Entebbe was bitter. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Entebbe was my old reserve, further north from here in the Waterberg. Very different altitudes, as myself and Jared were discussing yesterday. We're talking about 300 meters, give or take. Okay. Are we any better yet? Not quite. Okay. Roughly around 300 meters, 320 meters above sea level here. At Entebbe, we were about 1,100 meters above sea level, and on the escarpment, we had about 600 meters high elevation, so that was about 1,700 meters. And believe me, that got cold. Oh my God. -4 on game drive. Yes, wrapped up in blankets, and you can even see the eyes there, the heads are covered. And there's me with my gloves on, and the wind's biting through my gloves, having to sit on my hands and try and drive one-handed. That me. And I say it felt like knives attacking your face. Very, very cold. -4. So I'm quite glad to hear that the Sabi Sound shouldn't get as cold as that. Okay, Okay, so I'm just going to make my way down quickly towards Treehouse Dam, see if those elephants are around there, and head back up towards Buffalo's Hook, see if the crocodile's around, see if Bob and Bob's mother are there, and as I say, hopefully put us in the right spot. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So it sounds like you're having a bit of problems with the picture. So hopefully it should sort itself out shortly. We're currently on Elephant School Road, so we can get a few breakups along here. Maybe see if we can bump into any rhino. I know some people were making fun of me in the chat rooms the other day when I keep saying bump into. I don't literally mean bump into them. So we don't cause any accidents around here. But yeah, it's nice just to come across these animals in the road. Okay, hopefully you're back with us. Is the picture back with us, Kath? Or not just yet? Okay.
Where are you based?
Oh. Okay, I only caught half of the message you're breaking up, but Penny and Bob, I'm glad to hear that you're on board Jigger, but I'm not glad to hear that you're actually having a lot of rain where you are. But I didn't catch what temperature it was. What temperature was it, Kath? Okay, you're putting up again. Okay, so Penny, you're saying that it's raining in Durban, and in Canada, I think I didn't copy who it was who was sending the information, but I think he was saying it was minus 30 Kelvin, and it was minus 30. Aye, that's cold. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Sure. Wow, Calvin. I hope you got some warm clothes. Okay, so should be coming up towards Treehouse Dam now. It sounds like they are trying to make their way towards Gowrie Dam.
If there is any space for the ingress, then that's it, you got me again.
Doesn't like anybody's here. Looks like the elephants have moved on. Let's see if we can go up. Okay, we've got another question coming through. Okay, Julian Serenity, welcome aboard. And you'd like to know, out of all the game drives that I've done, what is the most memorable experience? that I've had. Julie and Serenity, that's quite a difficult one. There's been so many memories.